Trigger warning, trigger warning. Just so you guys know, this is my opinion. If you do not agree with me, please let me know in the comments. Hello, helldivers, and welcome to my first ranking video. Today is armor. Armor passives are essential in what faction you're going to fight. So let's just figure out which ones are the best. Starting off, let's go with scout armor. Scout armor, markers placed on the map will generate radar scans every 2 seconds and reduce range of which enemies can detect you by 30%. It's okay. It's not the best. Usually, playing stealthily, I mean, is very situational. It really depends on what objectives you're doing and just how you're gonna do it. Because if you're running smoke and everything, that's understandable. But even if they see the stratagem beacon, they're still gonna know where you are because that's how the AI works in this game. It's kind of weird. Honestly, for bugs, since they go off of a lot of sight and sound, I mean, all of them go off sight and sound. I would say that for bugs, I feel like it would probably be like a C tier for me. I don't personally use scout armor like ever. There's just so many better armor passives out there for you. I would say definitely C tier. For bots, uh, honestly, I think B tier because a lot of them detect you from further away. Like I mean, you can see them from a long ways away. The main thing is that they can see you at an equal distance. If I think it's with like 50 meters or it's like 70 meters or something, they can spy you from pretty far away. Factory striders are terrible for that because they don't give any indication of them spotting you. But I would 100% say that I'd B tier. And then for Illuminate, I've never used it on Illuminate. I'm gonna be honest. I'd say for how they work, I would say probably D tier, maybe C tier. I'll put it C tier. I think it's okay. All right, next we have Engineering Kit. This is again an overall great armor passive. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's improvements somewhere, but that's what armor passives cover is what you want to bring that mission. I guess just further reduces your recoil when prone or crouched by 30%. Amazing. Now, what it doesn't tell you is that it does it even if you're standing, which was a bug, but now it's a feature. So they kind of kept it in. I like that they did that because it feels much better to use, especially if you're using, a machine gun. If you're using the maxi gun, the maxi gun for sure is beneficial from this. There's another armor passive that benefits more from it, and we'll get to that later. But it is very helpful. Machine gun, HMG, all that stuff. And then this one increases your initial inventory and holding capacity by throwables for 2. So, I mean, you can have upwards of 8 grenades if you're using the pyrotech, and I think the frag grenades now. But I know pyrotechs for sure. It is very helpful in situations where thermites or dynamite or pineapple grenades, you only have 3. And having more of those is amazing. Because 5, on bugs, it's guaranteed charger kills if you hit them in the face. The guaranteed impaler kills if you hit them in the face when their tentacles are in the ground. Now, Bile Titans, I think it takes 2 into the face. So I would say bugs, A tier for bugs. 100% A tier for bugs. For bots, honestly, you can't go wrong with this one. I'd say A tier for them as well, because those thermites are always helpful for taking out those pesky hulks that are behind you that you need to reload your recoilless or your spear. And then for Illuminate, honestly, you gotta give it A tier. This armor passive is just all around. You can't go wrong with it because you really can't. There's just stuff that can be taken out only because you have extra grenades. All right, next up on the list, my absolute personal favorite, Medkit armor. Increases initial inventory and holding capacity by stims by 2, and increases stim effect duration by 2 seconds. Who doesn't want to live more, you know? Helldivers die more than enough. I know they're expendable, but having extra stims and duration is insane, especially because I'm one of the few people that actually run a stim pistol. I love me some stim pistol. That is just, I mean, it's just the best. You can heal your teammates. I play with a few guys that take damage all the time and rely on me sometimes to give them the health they need. So this is in fact my favorite armor passive in the game. Maybe not favorite armor. Trench Paramedic is good. I like the 64. The 64 armor rating is good. I like the light armor, but I honestly have to give it to Clinician.
I love you.
Just because I like the look of it. I feel like it definitely is a little bit better looking. Well, for me at least. I like the lighter green, which is like a blue green. The main thing about it is survivability. So with two more stims, you're able to survive 6 more seconds, or actually 12 more seconds with stim duration. Plus, that infinite stamina carries over with the stims, so you are able to run further. So honestly, for bugs, since you're going to be up in their face, or they're going to be up in your face a lot, actually. Uh, Honestly, S tier for them because they're constantly the hunters and the pouncers. But the main thing about bugs is they're a horde enemy, so they're constantly going to be around you. And for me, I have been saved many, many times by that stim duration and those extra stims. Being able to have more of them just means that you can survive for longer without going for supplies. But medkit armor, S tier for bugs, 100%. For bots, I'd say A tier. A lot more armors that are better than medkit armor for bots, but still A tier. For Illuminate, I would say probably B tier. B to A tier. I think kind of in the middle, but I have to go with the lower one because there's another armor passive that I love to use just for Illuminate. Let's go conduit. Yeah, this is a passive. Provide 95% resistance to arc damage. We'll go bugs first, I guess. I don't know. There's not really much to say about it except it's kind of useless. I mean, obviously there's arc weapons out there, but pretty useless. It's not great. I'd say for bugs, it's probably F tier. Unless you're using like a Tesla tower, then it's like D tier because you can survive. Why bring arc when you can bring fire? Fire is just they're just weak. Bugs are weak to fire. Why would you not bring fire to bugs? Why would you bring arc instead? Because arc insta kills teammates. And fire, you actually have a chance to put it out first or stim yourself through fire to be able to survive. Bugs F tier. Bots, yeah, I don't like it. F tier again, because like, what's the point? Just bring explosions, heavy weaponry to bugs, or sorry, bots, and these shields, something like that. There's multiple armor passes on here that are great for bots. Just use engineering kit. I mean, what's the point? Illuminate, I can see a little bit. I say C tier because at least you can survive a harvester and the arc tower that's over there. At least you can survive those. Servo assisted armor. I know I'm going through the light armors, but we'll just see what we have in here. Increased throwing range by 30% and provides 50% limb health. Very good. Honestly, not a bad armor passive. Now, some of the little guys as well on bugs, they still tend to break your limbs all the time, even if you have servo assisted. But that throwing range is pretty good. But the main drawback is you have to learn a new arc because it throws straighter and farther. You have to learn a new arc to throw your stuff. Because I'd say it throws around what 80 meters. At 80 meters, about 45-degree angle, 45 to 50 to 60 or whatever you use to throw. But the main, like I said, that's the main drawback is the throwing angle. Because when you're playing your base Helldiver, you're not going to get this armor for a little bit. Pretty sure it's way down on the list in Helldivers Mobilize. It's towards the bottom. And you're going to be learning the angle to throw. And it's the grenades throw a little bit differently. With this, it also increases your throwing range for grenades. Anything, really. I know I can throw with servo assisted as good as I can throw with the regular Helldiver armor. For bugs, though, I want to say it's like a B tier because sometimes if you want to take out a heavy nest to mega nest, 380 or you throw like a 120 in the middle. I'd say like a 380 for those. You'd be able to throw it directly in the middle, and then it's able to spread out from there. You'd be able to do it a lot more accurately without having to go into the nest and throw it down, or go on the edge and throw it in. You can throw it from further away, so it'll start barraging first. Then you can go in and be able to take it out a lot easier. I'd definitely say B tier for bugs. For bots, I'd say C tier. There's a lot better options. I mean, it's good, but it's not as good as some other ones. And then for Illuminate, I would definitely say that kinda D tier. There's a lot better ones than these ones. All right. Extra padding. This is Light Gunner. This is also one of my favorite armor passives in the game, or favorite armors in the game, I should say. Provides a higher armor rating. So what this does is it keeps the original stats of light armor. So you see how this is 550, 125 for speed and stamina regen, but you have 50 armor rating. This decreases your damage while keeping that speed and stamina regen of normal light armor. This is all around, honestly, across the board, I would say A tier. You cannot go wrong with extra damage resistance for any means. I believe fire takes less damage, gas, arc, which will kill you anyway. It doesn't matter. Bullets being fired at you. It doesn't matter. It's just a flat out damage resistance. Because what this does, what armor in this game does, is this right here. 50, number 50 is 25% extra damage to you, which if you're running 50, you're taking more damage than you need to. Because this is 125% damage. This is 100%. So you're taking full damage rather than taking more damage. See what I mean? So all around, I would say A tier. Can't go wrong with it. Now, one of my favorite also armor passives. I'd say extra padding, medkit, and integrated explosives are one of my favorite armor passives in the game. Armor explodes 1.5 seconds after wearer dies. Very good. Increases initial inventory and holding capacity by throwables by 2, or of throwables by 2. That wasn't in the game till recently. I know it's been in the game for a couple months, but I'm so glad they implemented it because it was this armor passive needed something else. Having your body explode when you die is great, and this was meant for Illuminate because the helldivers don't want to turn into voteless. I love this thing on Illuminate. I'm just gonna start out with that. This thing is so great because the only thing that it is really good for and anything else is like killing your teammates. Because on bots, if you stand too close to your teammates and you get shot, because they're going to be attacking you from afar. The only ones that are melees, are berserkers, they're brawlers. Maybe if you blow off the flamethrower of a Hulk, that giant buzzsaw that he walks around with, that will kill you. But having this armor on bots is like, what are you doing? You don't need to wear this one. There's no point. I would say on bots easily F tier. There's no point in bringing this. I'd say easily F tier for that. I hate bringing this on bots. For Illuminate though, honestly, even though I like it, I'd say it's A. It's not S tier because there's very little armor out there that is absolutely perfect. This is definitely A tier for Illuminate. So for Illuminate, it's an A. For bugs, though, I'd say B tier because it's still necessary, or for bugs, still necessary for bugs, considering that they're also a swarm. They're a hive mind, so they're going to work together to try to swarm around you. And especially those gosh darn dang it alpha commanders. Holy crap. Those guys will not die. We all know this. You shoot them in the face, you shoot them in the legs, it doesn't matter where you shoot them. They are bullet sponges. They are pretty much the equivalent of flesh mobs. If those alpha commanders charge you and pin you against a wall, and then you can't get up and they smack you, it's just dead. They're just dead. It's like the perfect fuck you moment for alpha commanders because we all hate them. We really do. They spawn us alpha warriors. Those guys suck as well. So it's just an easy kill on those big guys. So bugs, I'd say B tier. Next we have Adreno Defibrillator. When this armor passive came out, I didn't take this off for months. This thing was so much fun to use on every faction. It's just, you couldn't go wrong with it, but there are some downsides. So, provides one-time, short-lived resurrection upon death, given the Helldiver's body is still intact. Nice. Stint duration by 2 seconds. Amazing. And 50% resistance to arc damage. Not great for that one. The short-time revivification of the Helldiver is nice because I love this thing on bots, first of all. Because if you are getting shot at, for me, I love to run on bots. It's a hell bomb. Love it. Great for taking out factory shatters. Great for taking out, detector towers, stratagem jammers. Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to, rogue research station. There's always a use case for a portable hell bomb on bots. Because if there's a factory stratter, if you're not hit that much, you can outstim it. And being able to set off that portable hell bomb with that is really damn nice. 50% arc resistance, though, is very much useless. On Illuminate, you still get one shot by harvesters. You might not get one shot though. If you're wearing heavy armor, you might not get one shot. You get one shot by the arc towers. That is a pain in the ass when you do that, even though you have resistance. Now with vitality, that lowers the damage by 20% or something, or just provides 20% flat out resistance. I still don't think it matters. Tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm okay with it. I'm okay with being wrong. For bugs, I'd say this is probably B tier for me. It's a great armor passive, but I would prefer some other ones. And then for bots, I would say this is honestly for me, I would say this is S tier. Having that ability to just keep yourself alive for a little bit longer as you're trying to make your way. And then for Illuminate, I would say this one is kind of B tier as well. Actually, I'll put it lower C tier. There's just better armor passives out there for Illuminate, like integrated explosives. So it's not the best, but it's also not bad. Now, Desert Stormer. This is a newer one. It came out a couple war months ago. Provides 40% resistance to gas, fire, acid, and electrical damage. Increases throwing range by 20%. So this is a mix between acclimated, which we'll get to later, and servo assisted. I don't know why they combine these two, because the 40%, I mean, it makes a difference, of course. 40% resistance flat out to 4 different types of elements is great. Fantastic. But the throwing range is a little bit, it throws you off. It really does. When I used this thing the first time, it threw me off so much. There's not very many use cases on any other ones on why you would use this instead of going directly for inflammable or advanced filtration. There's just not a point to use this armor over any other ones. Because yes, it like I said, it gives you that resistance, but also that fire resistance isn't really noticeable. The gas resistance isn't really noticeable because you still die quick. Acid might be okay if you're wearing a heavier set armor. Yes, 100%. I would run that just for the acid protection against bugs. But that electrical damage also, like I said, that 50% doesn't matter. This 40% isn't going to matter even more. It's going to be worse. And that throwing range is going to throw you off. I'd say bugs in general, I would say C tier. Actually, D tier. I don't like this armor. It was great when it came out, but when a lot more, you just think about it, it's not great. For bots, I would say honestly F tier. Why would you bring this? There's no point in bringing this to bots. And then Illuminate, I would say again F tier. There's really no point on bringing this. Advanced filtration provides 80% resistance to gas damage and effects. Yeah, it's an armor passive. It's okay. It's not the greatest. 80% is good. Now, if you run heavy armor and vitality, you actually will take 0 damage from gas. You can sit there in your own gas, breathe it in, and just absolutely destroy everything because anything around you is going to become confused and take 25 damage per second, which not bad, honestly. I think the gas strike lasts for about like 25 to 30 seconds, somewhere in there, maybe 20 to 30 seconds, which honestly is not bad. And then you have gas mines, you have the sterilizer, which I don't recommend using. You have the guard dog, dog's breath, which I recommend using, especially on a predator strain, which is extraordinarily good for taking out stalkers, the predator stalkers. You have gas grenades. Yeah, that's it for gas. If you're running straight gas, this is S tier. If you're not running gas whatsoever, or maybe just like one thing, I'd say this is like a C tier. It's not amazing. We got to talk about Illuminate in a little bit. Bugs, I'd say honestly, if you're bringing like a gas strike and a sterilizer for Predator Strain, I'd say this is like a B tier. This is a B tier armor passive. On bots, I don't like this at all on bots. Gas on bots is not great. Gas grenades though, yes. Gas strike, sterilizer, nah. Or dog's breath, no, none of that. I'd say F tier. There's really no point in bringing that whenever you can just, kill them. And then for Illuminate, Overseers are a bit tricky because even when they're gassed, they have like, I feel like they have some filtration, like advanced filtration,
Shut your stupid.
like actually some filtration in their mask or their helmet that just, they don't give a shit. They will run at you, they will shoot at you, and they will throw grenades at you, even when they're gassed. Flying Overseers is the worst. They will still throw grenades at you. They will throw it. Their animation will throw it there, but you're over there and it goes that way. It's really damn confusing. Even if they're gassed, like in the cloud, they will still shoot at you through the cloud. They will go right through the cloud. They don't care. That's the most annoying part about it, which is why I'm giving that a D tier on Illuminate. Unflinching armor passive helps helldivers from flinching when hit. Provides a higher armor rating, which is 25 extra armor, and then markers placed on the map will generate radar scans every 2 seconds. Not bad, but there's always a but. Bugs, honestly, not that bad because they're going to be jumping at you, they're going to be hitting you, but they attack really damn fast once they're close up on you, which is quite an issue for when you don't have the proper equipment for it. But one of the main things is that on bots, when you're trying to go for that shot on, let's just say, a factory strider eyeball, and there's marauders and commissars and devastators, heavy devastators, all of them shooting at you. What are you gonna do when you're wearing this armor and you get shot? That reticle, that circle reticle, is not gonna move from the center of your screen or wherever it's swaying. It's not gonna move, even though your character is like aiming their gun off to the side. That reticle's not gonna move, and that gun being over there does not matter. Is really good is on bots. I'd say A tier for bots. This is one of my favorite passives to bring on bots. I'd say the Bloodhound, 100%. They need to make a heavy armor of this, and I would 100% wear it. But the Bloodhound, just because it has 125 armor while having the medium armor speed stats, which is very good. And then the markers placed on the map will generate a radar scan every 2 seconds, just like the scout armor. It's not bad paired with this because it has 3 passives, which is, it's honestly kind of rare to find 3 passives. There's very little in this game that actually have 3 passives, and the ones that do perform pretty well. This one performs very well, obviously on bots. Bugs, it's okay. Illuminate, yeah. If you have a lot of flying overseers, sure. But other than that, they're just melee. Well, besides crescent overseers and regular overseers, then I guess they could shoot, but they still melee you. I would definitely choose summer for bots. So bugs, C tier, bots, B tier, illuminate, D tier. Siege ready, 30% reload speed increase for your primary weapons, and increases ammo capacity of all weapons by 20%. Does not affect ammo in the backpack, or does not affect weapon backpacks, which makes sense, which is unfortunate, but it makes sense because they're not built to hold more. You're built to hold more, not the equipment that you're using. Now, this armor is another one where you can't go wrong. The only problem is you're either going to be running fast and taking less hits or running slow and taking a lot of hits. It only comes in light and heavy armor because if they knew if they hit that medium, this would be an absolute beast armor passive. They knew what they were doing when they made this armor passive. So bugs, honestly great. Having more ammo, being able to reload faster because they're running up on you, A tier for that. Bots, honestly got to give this an A as well because just having more bullets to fire back when bullets are firing at you, because they have infinite rounds. All they got to do is cool down. We're shooting actual bullets. Having that extra ammo capacity is very good. This does affect like machine gun, stalwart, anti-material rifle, all of the actual magazine loaded stuff, which is very helpful. Which is very helpful because you want to have more ammo, of course. And having more ammo is great. And this affects, yeah, as it says, infects all weapons. So pistols as well get it. Obviously your primary does. I'd say for bugs, A tier. Bots, I would definitely say that this is A tier as well. Can't go wrong with having more ammo. And then for Illuminate, I would 100% say that this is probably just a B tier. There's having more ammo on that is nice, but yeah, you know, increases reload speed by primaries for 30%, so it's the same as Siege Ready. Gives the wearer 50% chance to avoid grievous limb injuries. That's the one I was talking about earlier, which is pretty good. Increases melee damage by 50%. I really wish it was 100, but this already has 2 decently strong passives. Increased reload speed is nice. It's great to use for the amendment because that's the weapon that actually came with this war bond. So using that with the increased melee damage because of the bayonet in the end, and also the increased reload speed because the reload is actually pretty slow. If you don't use this armor passive or siege ready, it's pretty slow. I'd say for bugs, the limb injury doesn't really matter all that much because they're still gonna one shot you and take out your limb. I'd say for that it's probably a C tier, not amazing. For bots though, I'd say also a C tier. And then for Illuminate, which I think it really shines because of the amendment, and there's a lot of melee shit, I would say probably B tier. I won't put it any higher because it's not a great armor passive. It's good, but it could be better. Ballistic padding provides 25% resistance to chest damage, as well as explosive damage. Prevents all damage from bleeding if chest hemorrhages. Another one of my favorite armor passives. This armor passive is insanely good for bots. You cannot go wrong bringing with it because most of the time they will aim for your chest, and that explosive damage is great for avoiding War Striders, the little grenades that they throw from the Larrys, rocket devastators shooting their rockets at you. All of that is explosive damage. All of it is. And then prevents all damage from bleeding of chest hemorrhages. I've been shot in the chest a lot playing bots, and this has saved me many times because I'll be down to probably like 10 health, I would say. And if I didn't stim that exact second, I would have died. I'd say for bots, for me, this goes S tier. This is my favorite armor to bring on bots besides unflinching, so I would 100% put this at S tier. For bugs, I would put this at maybe a B tier. Sometimes they aim for your chest. Most of the time they don't. For bugs, I would put this at a D tier. They don't really aim for your chest that much, and they don't hemorrhage you. Explosive damage, I don't think they deal any. So just having that on bots is just a lot better. And then for Illuminate, I would say this is probably an A tier, like a low A tier, because the Voteless and the Flying Overseers love to aim for your chest. The Flying Overseers especially. I've been shot so many times in the chest, I can't even count. And I've just hemorrhaged, and I'm either out of stims or I have one and I have to use it or else I'm gonna die. This one has saved me many times as well. So definitely A tier. Next up is the newest armor passive, Rock Solid. I'm not counting the Killzone Warbond because that was already in the game if you didn't know. Increased melee damage by 100%. Nice. Bearer is more resistant to being knocked prone. Nice. Not bad, honestly. It's not the best armor passive because obviously it's really just choosing between which one you guys like to run. That melee damage increase is very nice for bugs. If you are having hunters swarm you, if you are having scavengers or pouncers swarm you, even warriors and alpha commanders and brute commanders, you can just smack them and make them back the hell off. If you hit hunters in their face though with the butt of your gun or anything that you're using, you can actually one-shot them. And then more resistant to being knocked prone. There's not very many things that can knock you prone. I don't know if heavy armor with this can stop you from being knocked prone all that much with chargers. I don't know if it can stop you being knocked prone from chargers, but I might have to test that. So for bugs, I'd say that this is a C tier. I'd say for bots, because being knocked prone by a lot of grenades, is B tier. And then Illuminate, I would say this is probably C tier. Maybe B tier. Because of the overseers that can smack you with staff. I'd say B tier. Peak Physique. This is another one that increases your melee damage by 100% and improves weapon handling with less drag on weapon movement. If you don't know what ergonomics is, it's how far your gun drags along behind you when you aim. So let's take the Defender, for example, with like an angled grip, because angled grips improve your ergonomics. So the Defender, you're able to aim, pretty swiftly with, and then compare it to the Eruptor, where it's very slow and it drags behind. Now, you can also see this on the HMG, or the recoilless rifle, or an EAT, where it just, that reticle, that circle, that gray circle lags behind the center of your screen. The closer it is to the center of the screen when you bring it, or how quickly it comes into contact with the center of your screen, is how good the ergonomics is. The higher it is, the quicker it'll come to your aiming position. The lower it is, the worse it's going to be. The maxi gun is amazing to use with this armor passive because it greatly improves the ergonomics of your weapon. I will put up a clip somewhere on the left here, and you'll see how good it is. Now, for bugs, I would say swapping for bugs, I would say swapping between enemies is great with this one, especially with the maxi gun. Although you're set in place, it's not bad. I'd say B tier. Uh, for bots, yeah, I don't like it. I'd say D tier. I don't really like this armor for bots. And then for Illuminate, I'd say C. I'd say C tier. Inflammable, my friend's favorite armor. I'm gonna be honest. I know he likes siege ready, but lately it's been siege ready. But I know he likes his inflammable. Provides 75% resistance to fire, allowing bearer to rest assured in their inflammability. Now, does this put your fire out faster? I don't think it does. I think it's about the same, but it grants you a major resistance to fire damage. Bots, not great. Bugs, amazing. Illuminate, pretty good. So for bugs, if you're using mainly fire, I mean, you could do a full fire loadup. You could do a torture, crisper, flamethrower, napalm barrage, napalm airstrike, flamethrower, and then you can use, a flame sentry or a hot dog or something. It really depends on what you want to bring, but I don't recommend that, by the way. That's an awful loadout if you do all fire. For memes, yes, I've done it before. It's fun, but not for serious if you're playing like Super Helldive. I'd say, yeah, level 6 is good for that. If you're just bringing fire, S tier. If someone else is bringing fire and you're bringing fire, I would also say S tier. Because just the ability to survive through the flames is super, super nice. And since I'm using a stim pistol, they're taking very little amount of damage. I can heal that damage. I can out heal flames if we're wearing vitality and medium armor. I'm pretty sure it's about the exact same for that, but I can basically give them infinite health if they're running through fire, which is amazing. I love that for myself. So bugs, I'd say S tier. Bots, I'd say C tier because flames aren't the greatest, but I have seen a lot of videos online where they are using the orbital napalm barrage and it absolutely destroys the bots. Haven't tried it myself, might have to. Illuminate, it really depends. I would say A tier though, just because fire is very effective. Acclimated. This provides 50% resistance to fire, gas, acid, and electrical damage. Honestly, kind of bad in my opinion. I'm just going to move through this one quickly. C tier all around. Now we have one of my other friends' favorite armor passives, Democracy Protects. We all know it. We all love it. It's great to use. 50% chance not to die when taking lethal damage. That's pretty good. And prevents all damage from bleeding if chest hemorrhages. Pretty decent. It's not bad, honestly. I'm gonna move through this one quickly because there's not really that much to talk about this one, except that it's 50% chance not to die. You're flipping a coin. And if it lands heads, you're gonna live. If it lands tails, you're gonna die. I would say B tier across everything. Next we have the Halo Warband, aka Feet First. Wear makes 50% less noise when moving, increases point of interest identification range by 30%, provides immunity to leg injuries. That last one is so good for bugs. Where it makes 50% less noise when moving, also very good on bugs. Increases point of interest range by 30%. Yeah, no, not really. It's not great. I think it increases it by like 3 meters. This one's pretty good because I would say if you're playing ICBM or the Destroy Eggs or anything with biospewers, this one is so good. Having the ability to survive that leg injury that you can just run away without having to worry about stimming yourself and then taking more damage unnecessarily from those bugs is really good. And that 50% less noise when moving, you can run pretty close to them and they have no idea you're there. Like, no idea. It's super, super helpful. Well, I'd say for bugs, it's a B tier because there's there's better ones, but if you want to never have leg injuries, just use this one. Just use it. Bots is C tier. I don't really know what else to say about it. There's not really much to say. Illuminate, I'd say C tier as well. Actually, D tier. I don't like this armor passive on Illuminate whatsoever. I really don't. Next up, we have Gunslinger. Increases secondary reload speed by 40%, increases draw and holster speed by 50%, and reduces sidearm recoil by 70%. This is okay. The problem is that it's just for secondaries. It's only for secondaries. Nothing else applies to it. And your secondary is, well, what the name is, it's a secondary option. If you run out of ammo in your primary, you switch to your secondary. For me, This one works decently well. That increased reload speed is very nice for the stim pistol. Now, what I wish it did, the recoil, I don't care about because you shoot, it goes up. If you're using the Senator or the Verdict, all it's really going to do is you're going to shoot and then you'll be able to spam it because the bullets aren't going to go like here. They're going to go right back to where it was. It's going to go right where that circle is. They're never going to go up like in the air unless you force them to go up. And there's not really much recoil you need to control on them anyway. Now, the only thing that I would see useful on this is the Redeemer because it's a fully automatic pistol. It's just a secondary SMG pretty much. And the ability to have, almost zero recoil while using that, having the holster and draw speed and reload speed up is very nice. It's pretty good for that. I don't know. I don't like it though. For my stim pistol, it's pretty good. It's pretty good for my stim pistol. But I wish they got rid of the recoil and added reduced sway. Arrowhead, please hear my request. Add an armor passive that reduces sway. I will love you forever. I am in desperate need for a change for that stim pistol. I am one of the few medics out there that provides stims to those fellow helldivers, and my ability to hit them is necessary. I understand it's a plastic gun. There's no weight to it, so you can't control it. It's light, so you're able to move it around a lot. But please, Arrowhead, please do something. I beg of thee. Please. Thank you. Bugs. Not the best. D for bugs, C for bots, and then I'd say probably C tier for Illuminate. Fortified. Further reduces recoil when crouching or prone, and provides 50% resistance to explosive damage. That explosive damage is insane for bots, because that is an absolute lifesaver when it comes to War Striders. I haven't met them for a while. I'm so glad I haven't. They're a pain in the butt. Then you have Rocket Striders. You have the grenades, of course, which are also very nice not to die from. Further reduces the recoil. Obviously, engineering kit, very, very nice. It's just all around a solid armor passive, be across the board. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that tier list. I didn't go through the medium armor passive for extra padding or the heavy one, but honestly, put those in A tier. Both of them. Can't go wrong with it, really at all. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you all next time. Hey guys, Editing Max here. I just want to give a big shout out to my buddy Gregtomato, aka Christian. He helped me a lot with this video and making all of the clips that you see. So if you want to go check him out, go look up Gregtomato on Twitch or YouTube and go find him. Thank you.